We are going to see exactly what happens when you play Mass Effect 1 on hardcore difficulty as Noob Jockey Jenkins, with no upgrades, no side missions, and no paragon. Let's begin. So we get dropped on Eden Prime for reasons, and run headfirst into oncoming drone fire. Then we meet none other than Gunnery Chief Ashley Williams, as we're thrust into the hands of fate and she joins the team unconditionally. We witness, but simultaneously don't witness, the death of the single best character in all of the franchise. Kaidan unfortunately slips on a banana skin and gifts himself a concussion. I then give Ashley a big old hug before I pledge my soul to the fucking space gods. Great success on Eden Prime. Not you, Kaidan. The doctor says, "Y'all are fucked up." But we ignore that noise and shake Anderson by the shoulders, asking what the fuck we do next. He tells us to hit up Ambassador Udina at the Citadel, who says we gotta prove that we dream dreamy dreams. We then condescendingly befriend a gangly exoskeleton, a walking weapon, and the best girl in the galaxy before we slime our way into becoming a specter. A human way. We then use brute force to shove Anderson out of the way in order to board our new spaceship. On Feros, we make our way to Zoo's Hope, kill a bunch of botty boys for fun, and certainly not for the colony, trip over the survivors of Exogeny, tell them we can't do a thing to help them because we haven't listened to a goddamn thing they're saying. Next, we mercilessly annihilate the inhabitants of Zoo's Hope for no other reason than they shot first. We discover the mother of all houseplants, and ignore the creature's sentience as we proceed to chop it down for firewood. It vomits up a Liara who gives us mind powers. We are then free to eject ourselves off this infested butt cheek of a planet, and go find other Liara, but not before we waste the Citadel Council's time by accepting their call and hanging up almost immediately. Optimus Tau, we take the totally easy to drive Mako and run it nose first into a Geth Colossus, right before heading down into the gaping arsehole of the planet in order to rescue other Liara. I got my arse pounded by a Krogan Battlemaster due to poor placement, but came up trumps when I single that motherfucker down first. We then blow the planet's arsehole out with one tremendous fart, and escape with only one death from this mission. Great success. We tell other Liara she's a worthless piece of shit before calling the council only to hang up on them immediately. Moving swiftly onto Noveria, we firmly hold our middle finger up to the law as we refuse to convince Lorik to testify because we British love a little bit of good old-fashioned defiance. We then Mako our way to Peak 15, where we slaughter a bunch of sentient machines before mentally bullying a scarred survivor into giving us their elevator pass. We graciously endeavour to gun down said survivors for their treacherous ways, and advance to Mother Liara. Other Liara and Mother Liara hang their dirty laundry out for all strangers to see. Then we beat 10 tons of shit out of Mother Liara and finish her with a firm elbow directly in her pushed up badonkadonks. She mutters some shit about little birds and light, but we're too self-involved and badass to notice. We then make the informed decision to dump molecular acid on top of the 100,000-year-old bug queen with no remorse whatsoever. Great success on Noveria. Kicking off the adventure to Virmire, we briefly update the council on the fate of the Rachni, then push the hang up button on them after we threaten the Turian councillor in an extremely racist fashion. We commit genocide against the crab people, let a Colossus hitch a ride, find Kirahi's team, then Rex decides to start crying about some Geno whatever, and pulls a fucking gun on us. Naturally, we mollywop that problem, blow his brains out 3 times, and take a selfie to commemorate this glorious occasion.
Are you alright? I'm feeling a hell of a lot better than he is.
We listen to death metal while this prick fluffs up his cushion of a team, then we throw Kaidan at them because he's also a useless piece of shit. Third Liara shows her face and panics as she grants us access to everything. But we know better than to let an enemy live, so we cap that fool anyway. We gain our final mind gifts from the space gods, then we have a chance to actually converse with them. We show our respect by throwing petty insults at an all-powerful godlike entity, which pisses them off beyond measure. This is where the ball really starts rolling. We salute Kaidan for his honestly non-existent service, and proceed to call Saren a soy boy beta-carc for gobbling the knob of the space gods. Then he gets real mad and almost ends my goddamn existence. Persistence prevails after a few deaths, and a long fucking time. Hitting the cutscene, I took a breath and pieced the fuck out. Great success on Virmire. Not you, Kaidan. We eagerly accept the council's call to lead them into a false sense of security right before we hang up on their asses yet again. They lure us back to the Citadel with promise of fleet nonsense, then lock me out of my own stupid spaceship. We run into a wall of paparazzi and gladly assert our dominance for humanity over the extranet while slandering Turian ingenuity. Very well done, Jenkins. We then sucker punch the unarmed civilian in the middle of CSEC headquarters with no context whatsoever. forever. And guess what? Nobody gave a fuck. Anderson gets wasted and starts talking about his mother, and we instantly redirect his anger towards fucknugget Udina. He gets mad, storms the ambassador's office, and knocks his fucking block off before giving him a little tickle. Somehow, we escape the Citadel, and the universe was again once in balance. We put our lives in the hands of a cripple as we descend upon Seren in arguably one of the most awesome scenes in all of sci-fi history. We then breeze our way through the complex due to seasoned veterancy and trip over the god of epilepsy, which we totally ignore. Taking the Mako, we reenact the goddamn Death Star trench run, and we get walled in by Vigil. We ask just what the fuck he thinks he's doing, and he replies with some utter garbage about the fate of his people. Other Liara takes notes as I pick my nose and flick them directly in Ash's general direction. Then I tell Vigil he's a fucking coward for not fighting the space gods. We then continue to the mini-mouse relay and hitch a ride through the cosmos, thousands of light years, in a car. We get spat out in the Presidium and then take a spacewalk along the side of a giant spire in a scene that looks like something from some kind of hentai. Whatever the fuck that is. I died far too many times than I care to admit in this section, catch up with Seren and fumble around the Citadel tower trying to take him down. We finally trigger the cutscene for the second stage and don't even blink as we condemn the council to a fate blanketed in fire and steel. Due to the pitiful damage we're dealing, the second stage boss fight here took me almost an hour to fucking complete on its own. But eventually we pop off the head of the space god underling and relax as we have a well-deserved gin and tonic while we watch the final cutscene play out. Fucknugget Udina calls us to a meeting and we make Anderson physically ill as we racially berate all the other races behind their backs and demand satisfaction for humanity, and humanity alone. All in all, this was a fucking awful experience that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and I'm so not looking forward to jumping into Mass Effect 2 under the same conditions.